What if I told you that one of America's most visible billionaires built his fortune on a business model that no longer exists? Or that behind the courtside antics and Shark Tank deals lies a financial strategy most Americans would never guess? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Mark Cuban's $4.7 billion empire. Not just how he built it, but the hidden mechanisms that keep it growing while he sleeps. Ever wondered how a man who started by selling garbage bags door to door became powerful enough to challenge the entire pharmaceutical industry? Or what secrets his investment portfolio contains that financial advisors don't want you to know? In the world of billionaires, Mark Cuban stands apart. Not the richest, not the most famous, but perhaps the most relatable. At least that's the image he's crafted. The basketball-loving businessman who speaks his mind, champions the underdog, and isn't afraid to tell other wealthy elites when they're full of it. But there's a side to Cuban's empire that rarely makes headlines: strategic moves and counterintuitive philosophies that form the backbone of his wealth. Today, we're going beyond the mansions and jets to uncover what truly makes the Mark Cuban financial machine tick. Every billionaire has an origin story, but Cuban's begins with unusual humility. Born to a middle-class family in Pittsburgh, young Mark's entrepreneurial journey started when his father refused to buy him a new pair of shoes. His solution? Buying garbage bags wholesale for $3 and selling them door to door for $6. It wasn't glamorous, but it taught him a principle that would become central to his fortune. Find a need and fill it, even if it means doing what others consider beneath them. After college, Cuban's hustle continued. While many aspiring entrepreneurs chase grand visions, Cuban focused on practicality. His first major success came from Micro Solutions, a computer consulting service he built after being fired as a salesman. He recognized businesses needed help navigating the new world of personal computers, a mundane but essential service that brought him his first $6 million when he sold the company in 1990. But the truly transformative moment came in 1995, when Cuban and his friend Todd Wagner had a simple desire: to listen to Indiana Hoosiers basketball games while living in Texas. This personal frustration spawned AudioNet, later renamed Broadcast.com, an internet radio company that streamed live audio of sports games. What happened next is the stuff of tech legend. In 1999, at the height of the dot-com bubble, Yahoo acquired Broadcast.com for $5.7 billion. Cuban's stake translated to roughly $1.7 billion overnight. Here's where the Cuban story takes its first unexpected turn and reveals a strategy most financial advisors never mention. While countless dot-com millionaires watched their paper fortunes evaporate in the crash that followed, Cuban did something radical. He hedged against his own success. Recognizing the market's irrational exuberance, Cuban used collar options to protect his Yahoo stock position. When the dot-com bubble burst and Yahoo's stock plummeted, Cuban's wealth remained largely intact. This wasn't luck. It was calculated risk management from someone who suspected his own industry might be overvalued. This paradoxical thinking, being willing to bet against yourself, remains a hallmark of Cuban's approach that few discuss. It's not just optimism or believing in yourself, as most success gurus preach. It's clear-eyed realism about market forces beyond your control. When people talk about Mark Cuban's wealth, they usually mention the Dallas Mavericks, his Shark Tank investments, or his massive homes. But these visible assets tell only part of the story. After securing his initial fortune, Cuban made a move that few noticed, but many should have. He quietly amassed a significant position in Amazon stock worth roughly $1 billion today. Unlike many tech billionaires who stay exclusively in their lane, Cuban recognized the future of retail and made a decisive move away from his original expertise. Then there's his under-discussed investment in HDNet, now Access TV, one of the first high-definition cable networks. While not his most profitable venture, it demonstrated Cuban's willingness to bet on technology transitions before they become obvious, a pattern that continues with his current interest in AI, cryptocurrency, and healthcare disruption. But perhaps most interestingly, Cuban maintains something most billionaires eventually abandon: liquidity. Unlike many ultra-wealthy individuals who have 99% of their net worth tied up in company stock or illiquid assets, Cuban keeps substantial cash reserves. This gives him the flexibility to move quickly when opportunities arise, like buying the Mavericks in 2000 for $280 million, now worth $2.4 billion, in a deal he completed in just days. Cuban places immense value on one invisible asset: time. His famous $40 million Gulfstream jet purchase in 1999, setting a Guinness World Record for largest e-commerce transaction, wasn't about luxury, but efficiency. "My time is the most valuable asset I have," Cuban emphasizes. This philosophy shapes his entire business approach. He structures operations to minimize his involvement while maximizing returns. His Shark Tank investments follow a consistent pattern: backing operational businesses needing scale capital with founders who can execute independently. Unlike micromanaging investors, Cuban establishes clear metrics, then steps back. This time-centric strategy enhances his quality of life, allowing family time while growing his empire. Cuban has stated he'd rather attend his daughter's basketball games than close billion-dollar deals, a claim validated by his actual schedule. As a contrarian investor, Cuban challenges conventional financial wisdom. He's called the stock market for suckers, arguing that brokers and media hype market potential for their benefit, not investors. He advocates debt elimination, especially high-interest credit cards, before investing. His investment advice is financial heresy: invest only in what you understand, limit to 10% of income, and mentally write off immediately. Treat it like buying trading cards, he suggests, rejecting Wall Street's "stocks always rise" mentality. This contrarian thinking extends to his ventures like cost-plus drugs, targeting pharmaceutical pricing disruption despite powerful industry incumbents. When Cuban bought the struggling Dallas Mavericks in 2000, his hands-on approach transformed them into champions. He sat courtside, criticized referees, and personally answered fan emails. These weren't mere eccentricities, but calculated culture-changing moves that increased the team's value tenfold through brand accessibility. This pattern, high engagement during transformation, then strategic delegation, repeats throughout Cuban's business empire. At 65, when most wealthy individuals focus on legacy, Cuban remains fixated on the future. His interests in artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, healthcare reform, and politics reveal a mind constantly scanning for the next disruption. This forward thinking transcends profit-seeking. Cuban genuinely believes in technological evolution, once claiming the US is in an AI arms race with China that could lead to a Terminator-style future. While seemingly hyperbolic, this reflects his tendency to think in longer arcs than most business figures. His consideration of a 2024 presidential run demonstrated his desire to influence systems beyond business. Unlike many billionaires who merely protect their wealth, Cuban appears genuinely interested in structural change, even when it might disadvantage the ultra-wealthy. The formula behind Cuban's billions isn't what most think. Beyond simply riding the dot-com wave and diversifying intelligently, Cuban's approach combines several rarely discussed elements: practical problem-solving instead of chasing grand visions, counter-cyclical thinking and willingness to hedge against his own successes, high liquidity for rapid opportunity seizure, time prioritization through minimal personal involvement, contrarian investment philosophy and skepticism toward traditional advice, using personal brand as strategy to build asset value, constant scanning for upcoming disruptions. This offers a more sophisticated template than typical hustle and grind billionaire narratives. Cuban's journey from selling garbage bags to building a multi-billion-dollar empire showcases strategic thinking and risk management beyond what most see on Shark Tank or at Mavericks games. While he enjoys the visible trappings of wealth, mansions, cars, private jets, these merely surface a deeper wealth philosophy. As Cuban might say, true value isn't in possessions, but in time to enjoy them. flexibility to seize opportunities, and freedom to bet on your vision of the future. That's the billionaire's secret hiding in plain sight.